I'll take us over to live like I have now without, anyone realizing that it's happened. But I'm not gonna like start the stream, start it without knowing that everyone's ready because
Well, yeah,
pantsless situations can happen. We're playing around a virtual table. Nobody knows. You don't know. I look like I'm wearing a sweater. You don't know.
Real-time editing.
This could be a virtual sweater. Nobody knows.
Filters are fun. I mean,
this isn't even me. I'm a VTuber.
Exactly.
It's the AI program I've been working on for a while.
Exactly. I've just realized I'm not wearing glasses, and that's why everything's slightly blurry.
Odd. Funny how
It's
that
been
works.
A while. It's been a while, everyone. They're only close up.
But hi.
Close up. I can't see anything. Hello, everyone. Michelle, tell us who you are and how you are, and I'm gonna get my glasses.
Sure, you can hear me better that way. So yes, Michel Valancourt. I'm the GM of these amazing folks, and currently working on my new novel, which should be coming out in October if everything goes well. And by which I mean I'm writing a novel I'm so enthusiastic about my current story that I actually went and found cover art for it. So that's about as close as I get to committing to a novel. And at the point I'm thinking I have a release date in mind, that's pretty much a guarantee it'll probably actually wind up on Amazon. But yeah, having a lot of fun with the writing. One of those truisms I have come to learn is that if you don't laugh at your own jokes and don't cry at your own sad scenes, you're probably not going to get anyone else either to. So so far it's I'm having fun with it. So yeah. Also, as I was commenting offline to Shawnee, temperatures in Canada right now are in the height of summer, and we are somewhere. The reference points I was using was irritates an emu and irritates a kangaroo, and we've crossed both of those lines in the past 2 weeks. So yeah. Beyond that, you can catch up with me, MichelleV69 on Twitter. And if you search for that as well on TikTok, you'll find me there. And yeah, that's me. Over to you. Well, Jamie's still looking slightly just woke up, so I'll throw it at Sam. Sam,
No,
you.
Jamie looks definitely awake. Jamie looks more awake than I do, than I feel. But Sam, go.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a voice actor and performer in Australia. Find me on Twitter at @the_RealSammyP. Don't really have anything to talk about. I did some work recently. I got to sign NDAs, but it wasn't anything that's going to be. It was scratch audio, which is a term I hadn't heard before. But that was a fun thing to do. So it's sort of like placeholder audio for like cutscenes and what, so they can sort of while they're sort of working out pacing and things like that.
Right. Cool.
Having a group of people actually do a rough performance of it, so they can sort of better put it all together. So that was a fun experience.
Yeah.
Jamie.
That's me. I'm Jamie. You can find me on Twitter at Muffin Manifesto or on my website, jamie-collette.com. Any recent developments in the last month since we played? You can still get the audiobook that I narrated recently, which is The Slob's Guide to the Perfect Job. Very amusing. Now available on Amazon as well as other normal audiobook places. And the full-length streamed version of Richard III that I directed is now available for free on YouTube. It was a pay-per-view up until Christmas, but I believe it is now free to view on the streamed Shakespeare YouTube page.
Wonderful. Have you got a bit of a cold?
I had COVID in the month that we were down, so I was out for about 3 weeks with no voice at all. I don't have
Okay,
a cold.
all right.
I'm feeling all right now. A little bit of the fatigue remains, but
Gotcha. Okay,
if
that's what
I'm
it
a
is
bit
then.
stuffy, it might be because I did just wake up, but I am also very awake because it's the most I've slept in about 2 weeks.
Gotcha. No, you were sounding a little bit stuffed nose. So I was just wondering if you started on a cold or something. Gotcha.
I might grab some water.
Very good. Chantal.
I have, in the last 3 weeks, crossed many state lines, many international borders. I also experienced a plague, and now I'm back. Older, wiser, with 1, 2, 3, soon to be 4 beverages today. And a bonus mug because one of the places I was in was Canada. And I will on Saturday my time, Friday night at 10 p.m. be on Gen Con's Twitch playing some D&D.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else am I doing? Oh, one of the crew of Daybreak is moving, but if Wi-Fi gets in time, then we will also be playing some Daybreak.
Wonderful.
Sam, that's the first you've heard of it. I'm telling you now.
I'll endeavor to be free.
You don't have to be free. There are things also.
But also, there are things.
I have plans. I will message you. It's fine.
I need to get
It doesn't
caught.
have
I
to
need
happen
to.
now.
I
You
need to get
don't.
caught up on the.
There
I
are
need
so
to get
many
caught up on
hours.
this Daybreak story.
It's like 24 hours. I don't know, 24 hours a session. I would. At this point, I don't know what to do. I keep trying to shorten the amount of time we're playing for, and then they say no. I try to end the session, and they say
They
no.
sense weakness.
We joked that each episode would go as many hours as the number of episode it was.
And I very
Shorty was like,
specifically ended
"No,
the
that's
stream.
absolutely not going to happen." But it was mostly because we did it like episode 7 was like roughly 7 hours, and then episode 8 was
we
like
got
7.5.
We got to 7. And I was like, no.
Like,
I'm cutting this. I'm cutting this. I'm not getting into this habit. We're not doing this. I don't care how much you want to play. We're not doing this. Beyond that, I am now a published academic. It got my first paper got published while I was on a plane to Canada.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is yes, awesome indeed.
So that's cool. Still doing the PhD, but like haven't been for the last month and haven't this week. So, and jet lag is kicking my butt, but only in the morning. It's all good. And that's me. I think. Should we press a button and play a game that I don't remember what we were doing?
Would you like to play a game? Yeah, let's do that.
I would love to play.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. We're back.
We are
Woo.
back.
Ta-da!
We're back. Bye-bye. The old Windows hello sound. Bye-bye.
I don't miss the stupid little paperclip though.
Clippy was my friend. Clippy would just sit there and smile at me and bounce around, make everything good. Clippy is the only thing I miss from Windows, really. Like the whole of Windows, I just miss Clippy. Bring back Clippy. Bring back my buddy.
Hashtag justice for Clippy.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're done. I can't talk.
We're done. No, I'm on Twitter now. Hashtag justice for Clippy. That's all I'm putting. There's no context for that tweet.
That would be very.
That's all they're getting.
If we could get hashtag justice for Clippy trending, that would.
That's all we need. Just that.
Zero context.
Zero context. That's all I want. Just trend that. That's it. And that's my whole. That makes my day. Anyway, over to you.
Oh, goodness gracious. Right then. So, as I vaguely recall the circumstances of the circumstances, you folks were camped by a river, having made your way a good distance away from the place you started to the place you're going. And that's when the thing that was about 30 feet tall came lumbering over the hill, looking like a misshapen sideways centaur. And that was only part of the problem. The other part of the problem was these small horde of scampering, murdering, fiendish demonlings armed with, pitchforks and bazookas. And so that seemed to be an element of concern to, well, everybody. And so you and the small militia you had hired to defend your caravan basically fixed bayonets, dug in, and the shooting began. Now what we've been doing is that each round of combat, every couple of rounds of combat, I get you folks to throw a D8, and that informs how well the battle between the demonlings and your caravan guards, as it were, are going. And that in turn informs how well the battle you are having with the massive monster is going. Right? Essentially, if you are having to take time out to defend your defenders, then you're not going to be able to spend as much time focusing on the battle with the monster. Likewise, if they're just mopping up demons en masse, then perhaps you can get a little bit of fire support, for example, from the Wild Rose herself. Make sense?
Yes.
I think Jamie, based on the expression on his face, I think Jamie has just recalled the part where he teleported in front of the monster and said, "Have at thee."
I wanted to stab it in its ugly eye thing.
Have you ever seen that? It's like a 40K meme where it's the dude in the tank with the sword and he's like, "Drive me closer, I want to hit him with my sword."
Oh dear. Why do I have concerns?
Because they're valid and real.
Thank you. That does make sense. I now remember why I poured gin for this game.
I mean, it doesn't matter all that much. It doesn't matter so much what Spider's doing, given that Alexander and Mysel are blind currently. Blinder than Mysel is normally.
Oh, I am blind. Yeah. Good times. I mean, the birds aren't blind.
Nope.
They can tell me what's going on, but I don't want them to.
I was just going to say the problem is under conditions like this, they tend to lose the space bar.
Don't we all?
Lost, solid chunk of the health in one hit. That was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
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 I don't recall whether I rolled for that attack or not. Did I?
No, we had left it essentially. We had you, as I recall it, we had you roll the power, your power level to ensure that you could actually execute the teleport, and we essentially left you hanging in midair in front of the thing, and then said, "Right, that's it. We'll see you later."
Sorry, because I jumped really high or something.
Yeah.
I can't.
You teleported over.
I
Yeah,
teleported
you-
over, then jumped to come to stab it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just check? I know that
Mhm,
I
certainly.
did not. I know that I don't have all my HP, but the character sheet did not save, so I don't
Yeah.
have my hit points. I know that I definitely was hit hard enough that I recall going, "Wait, have I just been one-shotted?
I
Am
think
I just
Yeah.
I think
knocked
you
out?"
had slightly more health than me because I think your resolve
I
is
did.
better.
Yes, I did,
I'm
but I
at
don't.
18.
Okay, I'm just
So
going to say that
I
I'm at 19 and leave it there. I could go back and watch.
I have a feeling
Yeah.
I must have had the wherewithal remembering that it sometimes doesn't save your current hit points. So I left it in additional notes. So I was just having that same thought. And I was like, oh, look, past Sam did a thing.
That's really helpful.
Thanks,
Thank you,
past
Past
Sam.
Sam. Yeah.
Thank you for saving us all. Yes. So yeah. Because yes, in fact, what it is that Spider is sitting at the high initiative with a 37, followed by Mysel at a 23. Then we had Alexandri at a 15, and actually, in fact, according to my
15.
my
Okay.
initiative, yeah, my initiative counter, and then the daemon goes next, essentially after Alexandri. The problem is because as a player, I just give her. I just give players priority over on tied initiatives by default. But what that means is because the daemon has a boss action, if you will, he has the boss edge. He winds up attacking like 3 times in a row, and that's sort of what caused you folks the problem. Is he just pasted you sort of all in series, leveraging his its option to do so. But yes, I did not note here anything about damage dealt or what have you. And according to my initiative counter, we are just starting the 4th round of combat, and it is and yes, Spider has completed his movement round, but we said, right, that's where we'll leave it. We'll do the actual attack later.
Well, I do some anime bullshit.
Yeah, well, yes,
Yeah.
because that's just how we roll.
Anime bullshit.
I mean, if you were capable of doing anime bullshit, would you not?
Hello, I'd be starting the anime bullshit if I could.
I was going to say,
There'd be so much more bullshit happening.
All right then. So, just because I think that nothing goes so well that it can't be made worse, let's just I will remind you that it is a dark evening, a rocky, hilly slope. You are in the air in front of a monster which is striding along like some demonic version of a battle mech. You are currently hanging in the air above this thing, about to plunge headlong down to it, and it's about a 30-foot drop past its forehead. So why don't you roll that hit roll and we'll see just how well or not this goes.
Yeah, and this is the classic the cane sword has come flying into hand, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I am also invisible. That's like important here. So invisible means I can use lethal strike. So that's one advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Its defense would be lower.
Also, yeah, its guard is lowered by 3.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2 by 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't get the power level 6 invisible. That would have taken like a year to complete or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's -2 guard. I have an advantage from lethal strike. I also have on my sheet here that I have 2 legend points.
Yes, because part of the reason you are currently inverted in the air 30 feet above this thing, blah, 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 is because you are rash, and I can't remember what the other one was.
I'm proud and ambitious.
Yes, there we are.
This plays into that. I think there can't be a better time to just use these straight away.
Yes, because I have this sneaking suspicion that being flat on your back in front of one of these things, in front of this thing's foot, is probably an unenviable position for you to be launching a defense from.
Invisible or not, I agree.
Well, don't forget, the instant you swing that sword, you are no longer invisible.
That's not true. That's an old.
Oh,
D&D,
that's right. That's the right.
not...
Well, you're using an item anyway.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I got the ring on, I'm invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I won't be hiding from it. I will just be invisible, and that's
Yes.
Just this weird eye behind you watching all the time.
Okay, so I will spend the 2 legend points, which gives me 3 advantage.
Mm-hmm. And +2.
No, it has -2 to a guard, but yeah, I guess.
Yes, but a legend point is advantage 1 +1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that.
So
that's sick.
yeah, exactly. So not only does the invisible drop its guard, you also get a bonus to hit because of the legend points.
Okay. All right, let's roll them.
Yep.
Sorry, this dice is slightly mangled. Okay, the D20 is a 17. That's a good start.
That's a very good start.
Oh,
Yes.
and one of the D10s is already a 10.
Very
I've got
good.
to re-roll some of them.
Mm-hmm.
The second highest so far is an 8. Last one. Okay, so I got a 10 and an 8, so 1 explosion. Another 10.
We're at 38.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat because it hit another 8.
Yep.
So we got 17 plus
Mm.
10 plus 10
43.
plus 8. 30, 43, 45. No.
I'm sorry, I just saw Great Mustache's
No, and plus another 8, right? Because there was the 17 stands, the 8 stands, and then the 10 became another 10, became another 8. So it's 16.
Okay, so you rolled 28 on the explosion, right? 10 plus 10 plus 8.
17 plus 8 plus 28 is 53.
Where's the second 8 coming from?
That was the last roll after the explosion. Because it exploded. It double exploded.
Gross.
Yes. So what was the total?
53.
53. Yeah, that exceeds their guard. That definitely exceeds its guard.
Mm-hmm.
But only because of the -2.
And +2 from the legend points. So 55.
55. So 57 then. Yeah, okay. 55.
50,
yeah.
55, and its guard is -2. So
yes, wonderful.
I mean, my recollection is that it recovered like 20 health last round. So let's.
You've done a bunch of lethal to it.
Yeah, I've done 5 or 10 lethal already.
Yeah. All right.
And this is all lethal, right?
No, just 5 of it.
Just 5 of it. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see here. So that's 55. Oops, no, not that. 55 minus. And it had a guard of 23, which becomes a 21.
30 something damage.
30.
Yes.
55
minus 21 is, yes, 34 points of damage. That is by any and all calculus a devastating strike. So let's see.
What happened? Did anyone see?
You felt
because I'm invisible.
No, because I'm blind.
A better way of putting it is you felt that is actually a much better way of putting it, because the only way that makes even vague sense is if you literally nail it in the eye, or into the nasal or something like that, someplace that the full force of your weight can drive the blade deep. This thing, yes, this thing is supposed to be silenced, and yet somehow I think all of you are going to internally feel it scream. It is a distillation of frustration and rage that is a scream of raw emotion. It's not sound. I think the part that concerns I think Spider has been. How long has Spider been in the stabbing stuff business? How's it's been what, a couple years now, at least.
How old is Spider?
So you would think you're a reasonable expert on stabbing things, yeah? Yeah, you're pretty sure that just about everything else you've encountered in this world, that if you drop on it from that kind of altitude in a swan dive while invisible at its unsuspecting head and sink a weapon that long into it, it's supposed to fall down now, not stand there and complain bitterly about the injustices of its life.
I have nothing safe to say, so I will say and sip my damn coffee.
So yeah, no, not dead yet.
Oh, I get to apply a bane, right, for going
yes,
over?
in fact, you get to apply 2 of them because you've exceeded by 20.
Oh, I thought you had to have a feat or something for that. I think
I
you have to
don't
have a feat for that.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking that was just. Oh, yes, you're right. That is a feat. I was thinking I was reading something that was a thing. That was a thing. But yes, correct.
Now it's already silenced, and it would be
Yes.
re-silenced anyway because I have silencing strike for free.
Yep.
Does it still
and
have...
it is already suffering from persistent damage.
Right. It's got my poison arrow in it.
Yep.
Do we know whether it's immune to anything? Meta discussion. Do we know it already if it's immune to things from stuff you guys have done, spells and stuff?
Okay, so one of the things you have already all learned is that hitting this thing with entropy is a waste of your collective time.
Yep.
It just it's it's a creature of the void, right? It just snicker-snacks entropy. And its raw mass is such that a certain amount of just whacking it over the head with a stick actually doesn't work well either. But I don't think you've encountered anything. Smithers, which was really the one the Voidal Daemon you fought the most, was particularly resistant to mental attacks. But other than that, I don't think you've seen. I'm just quickly glancing at what this thing has done. I don't think you folks have seen anything particularly surprising yet.
I don't think I've done. I think all my stuff has been to try and like not really hurting it more so much as like debilitating it. So I haven't really done any.
Your actual last major was to lock it in a mental box and turn the terrain a 90-degree angle, so this thing wasn't marching straight towards the caravan. It thinks it is, but it's not. It's actually marching at a 90-degree angle to the caravan, and that is what you've been doing. Is essentially running a sustain on that while trying not to get mauled.
I think I've done a couple of things, but I think it keeps breaking out because it gets so many actions. It can just sort of resist.
Yeah, it can. Well, yes, it can essentially afford to resist repeatedly. If it doesn't want to do anything, yes, it has the ability to, and it has the resilient perk, which means it gets advantage 1 on resistance rolls.
Oh, I have that. So I'm just looking through the various banes and what they do. That won't work. Stunned is specifically not good against boss actions. Blind, deafen, knockdown, or disarm. I don't think disarm is going to help. It's not using an object.
Arms.
Yep. Blinded. Cannot attack rolls. Suffer disadvantage. But was it using attacks or is it just using like beams?
It was blinded before.
Yeah,
I was already blinded.
And then it
got over it.
could use other senses. So
Well, yeah. What the problem is, it has a sufficiently large dice pool that it actually it can almost work its way around to being blind, but it is still hampering it by comparison. So yes, it bothered to take the time to resist off the blind. Yes, this thing has a boss 3, which means boss edge 3, which means it immediately gains 3 advantage on everything it does. So when you're applying a 5 dice debuff to it, it just literally cancels most of the debuff out of hand.
That makes sense.
But at the same token, that also means you're not getting clubbed. You're not getting beaten repeatedly over the head and shoulders with that extra three dice.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll follow the story. I wanted to jump so I could stab it in its ugly eye and through its throat. Let's just make it blind again.
All right, fair enough. Now, it seems to me, and I didn't bother to record who it was that blinded last time. I think that actually might have been...
It was Alexandre, because
okay.
That's why she is now blind, because it was like, haha, doing it to you.
Right, yes. Because you can't apply the same buff to it, but other people can. So I actually need to keep track of... So, so resisted, cleared... so that's a non-thing. But what it does mean, for example, is that if it now... So yes, it is blind. And I'll just make a note that applied by Spider, because when it resists, then you can't apply blind to it again.
I don't think
until
blind has...
I don't know if that works for blinded. I think that's for incapacitated.
Some of them do.
Some of them do. I don't know if it's all of them.
It's specific to certain...
okay. I
know it's now immune to my hallucinate for like an hour or something like that.
Yeah, like for some reason I thought it was essentially most of the Banes work that once a resist is successful, essentially that's it until the next time you encounter it.
Yeah, I feel like blinded would be a weird one, because it's like, oh yes, I've cleared my eye. Oh no, there is now sand in my eye. Oh yes, I've cleared it now. No, you stabbed it. Like, I feel like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the ones
narratively that one doesn't make sense.
Non-narratively done usually don't have that.
Okay, very good then. Fair enough. I'm not in the mood to fuss with the book, so we'll just go with the answer is no. Is that a blind can be reapplied?
The other ones do specifically say so, and blind does not.
Okay, very good then. All right, so this thing is now blinded, and that brings us to Mysel. Oh, before we do Mysel, would you mind doing me one other little thing there, Spider?
Yeah.
That would be the dexterity check for Rodeo Ride Excessively Thrashy Demon.
Yeah. Chanson and Dagger as what are they called? Titans. Yeah. Whoa.
Like
luckily,
movies,
I am good at agility rolls.
pirate
puts a dagger into like the sail to sort of stop them falling too far down.
Yeah,
like that. But the creature's high.
Much gooier and much screamier. Yes.
Also, silly demon. You're not supposed to thrash around when something's in your eye. You're supposed to
What was the roll? Sorry?
21. Oh no, 24. 24.
More than enough. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So you're able to not plumage to the somewhere between 30 to 40 feet, and subsequently get stepped on while this thing does its unhappy dance. So yeah, that works out well for you. And that does bring us to Mysel.
That's exactly how I imagine it too.
Yeah, we're hearing.
That's my unhappy dance. I figured it must have a similar one.
We're hearing incomprehensible pain screaming through our soul. All the other demons is hearing, "Fuck! My eye!
Oh, my eye!
God damn it!
What even was that?
Does anyone have a rinse or something?
Did you see that? I didn't.
And now I can't.
Now I did this happen to you too?
Speaking of being of people who are currently blind, as I said, than usual.
Blind Earth. Yeah, actually, how did... Wait, hang on a second. What's the point of blinding Mysel? What difference does that make?
Well, Mysel's like narratively blind, not mechanically blind.
Ah, see.
And currently, he's mechanically blind.
Essentially, you folks got hit with the collective effect of a flashbang. So it's sensory overload is what you're trying to contend with.
That and a beam of pure entry punch through his chest, but
which is also distracting.
Not as distracting as a single fly in your room, though. There's nothing more distracting than that.
On the scale of things, it's close.
On the scale of like 0 to distraction, like that's
that is actually one of my favorite quotes by the Dalai Lama. The opinion that a single individual can change nothing against something so great and vast as a country has never tried to sleep with a mosquito in the room.
Exactly. I rest my case. It's like trying to do anything with a paper cut. My God.
So yeah, Mysel's kind of reeling from losing almost half of his health and various other senses. But we're going to try and get over this blindness thing because
just get over it.
It's just it's not a good scene. So we'll try and resist that. That's I could use that 19 on something else, but I'll use it for this. So we get over being blind and sort of blink everything back into focus and see this creature screaming, I guess.
Yeah, thrashing around. The body language as odd as as like one of those things about voidal demons is the best thing you can say about them is they're physiologically improbable. And most of their movement falls into that category as well. But that having been said, it's still pretty obvious this thing is exceedingly unhappy about something. And you suspect that something has to do with the brief intermittent glimpses you have of a spider thrashing around up on this thing's face.
Why, let's do this. You know what? You need to just calm down a little. I'm going to spend one of my legend points as well.
Okay, then. And this thing's off to therapy, is it?
No. Look, it needs to calm down. And what's the best way to calm a giant voidal demon down is you deny it its higher mental functions.
Sure.
You just take those away.
I'm sure that's how that works.
There is no calm quite like high mental function calm.
I'm pretty sure that the expression on Alexandri's face is something like "you're joking," right?
Okay. We have a 10, but the D20 wasn't great, so we'll see. So, 20. All right, that would be 26.
That is 3 more than its resolve.
Fantastic. So that was for the stupefied Bane.
All right.
So it targets in a state of mental fog. So its resolve is now just 10. It has the approximate intelligence of a child. It can't do any kind of complex actions. But if it gets attacked, it can potentially defend itself with whatever its natural weapons are. It can't use any, as I said, complex tactics or abilities such as spellcasting, and a lot of reactions are instinctual. If it sees fire, it runs. If it feels pain, it flees. It can't actively resist it. It gets a free resist attempt at the end of its turn. But if it also gets a a free resist roll anytime it is the target of mental or physical pain.
Mm-hmm.
And any action that would startle a wild animal will also trigger a free resist roll.
Okay.
And those additional resist rolls don't count to the fail 3, and it sticks around longer than anything. And once it breaks out, I'm not doing that again. This is one of the ones that it becomes immune to. It's for the next 24 hours. It can't
Gotcha.
I can't do it to it again. So,
Alexandre.
Oh, it's me.
Incident. Actually, just very quickly before, what is Mysel thinking in this mess? You've gotten used to the idea. By the way, just as a recall that literally storm clouds have rolled in. There are lances of lightning darting about. Mysel has, over his time, come to recognize that this is just reality hating the fact that there's a Voidal demon around. And so you guys remember when you fought Smithers, the exact same thing happened. As the battle began, the weather turned foul, right? And so it's now thunder, lightning, hail. It's cold, it's miserable. There are there are the troops from the caravan, fighting. Is almost hands on throat with the Lycodemons. What's going on in Mysel's head in all this?
Abby sort of like defaulted to his general tactic of just using the hallucination to sort of distract. And it sort of, when the creature quickly got over that, and then kind of wrecked him a bit with his beam. There's a degree of like, right, yes, let's we should be stepping this up as well to our lesser used bit more serious. Like, let's start pulling on the things that's like, this is why people are afraid of telepaths. Okay.
Yeah,
you might have to do that. But there's a degree of also like, I don't think what I'm doing is causing a lot of like long-term benefit for this group. So it might need to just like, if I can calm it down long enough that I can switch over to Hio, that might be
okay.
Oh, it's me.
I'm just waiting for Sam. Sam was eating, so I was waiting for the rest of the sentence.
Sorry, but part of Mysel is like, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I think I calmed it for a bit. Probably not long.
All right then. So Alexandre, what's going on in Alexandre's head? What's she thinking? What's she feeling? What's she doing?
Do I get to try to resist this blindness? What happens with that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
D10. All you 5+ is a win.
A D10.
Yep. D20. 10 plus. I mean, it's same odds, but yes. 10 D20 and 10 plus is clears.
15.
All right then. So yes, you are able to shake the blindness off.
Okay. Well, that was a very scary 5 minutes, which lasted a month in my head, which lasted 8 seconds or so. Horrible. Longest 8 seconds of my life. I would like to double check whether I'm reading this right. I would like to run away, but also I would like to cast regeneration on myself, Spider, and not Sam, Mysel.
Okay.
Do you need to be able to see a target to cast on it?
It doesn't say.
I don't know.
So by convention, if you cannot find it, you cannot affect it.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I don't want your regeneration.
No. But that's a very good point.
So my conceit is that while the creature is incapable of seeing him while they're invisible, there is essentially so much magic and reality disturbance in the air. You're actually getting vague glimpses as this thing is thrashing around of him hanging on for dear life ahead of it. But it's just these, is this thing, you have no idea where he is in between. Right? You know roughly where he is, but not well enough to target.
Has Spider lost any
No, I'm at full at the moment.
You're at full? Okay.
Because I was off to the side when it did the big beanie things.
Then I will just do the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
How does this work with my boon focus 1? That's my question. That's where things get confusing.
Was your boon focus in regeneration or in heal?
In heal.
Are we using heal or we're using... So...
I want to set it to regeneration so that I can then hide and you'll just heal on my turn and I'll just stay over here.
The catch is that heal is a different boon than regeneration is, so you don't actually get the the focus.
The focus doesn't happen there. Cool. Good to know.
So it's just check step 1, roll the power level.
Okay.
And see what you get out of it. Does it turn on, and from there on.
Right. And you get disadvantage 2.
I don't, because I have multi-target boon specialist 2.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I've been saving up for these feat points and doing nothing with them, and when I should do something with them. I'm still doing nothing with them.
Oh no.
That's a 14.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah,
well, that would be power level 2.
Power level 2 on regeneration is still more than 0.
Yeah. So
that's a D4. That's it. We each get a D4 on my turn.
Yay.
Keep in mind the D4 technically means that even
it could explode.
Yeah, and a serious toughy fighter kind of thing is 20 or 30 hit points. That's 8 rounds, to fall.
Yeah.
So,
Where is it?
And as you say, all you essentially have to do is remind me that you're running a sustain, and it just automatically, and everyone just rolls dice.
Yes.
So yeah, very good. It's actually a very good play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Alexandre runs. Wait, does it have?
Do you get the regeneration this turn?
I feel like we should. It should.
As far as I understand, yes, it goes off, it takes effect, and then ticks over every notch thereafter. Let's see. Let's just check real fast.
I get two hit points back this time. It's okay. It's okay. Now I just
better than not dead.
It's better than nothing.
And from then going forward, it will kick off at the beginning of your turn.
At the beginning of my turn, every turn, a little bit more health comes back.
But I don't think you can move because to resist blindness, use your move action.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. I thought it was my.
It's your major action,
minor.
But then you can't.
Oh, okay. Cool.
No, resisting Bane is a move action.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm still in its line of sight, but it can't see. So sure, we're fine, right?
Should be fine.
Kind of semi-pacified. We'll see how long that lasts.
Mm-hmm. All right. While the regeneration boon is sustained, so yes,
extraordinary.
It takes. Go ahead.
I'm just reading.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Cool. Very good. All right then. Well. Right then. Its turn, and then its turn, and then its turn. Now it can't actually do anything because it is stupefied.
Persistent damage.
Right. Let me do that.
I don't remember what
D8.
level I got. Oh, nice. Do I roll it or do you?
Go ahead and you roll it.
3.
All right, that's minus 3 more. Very good. All right. Now here's a quirky question. It just took damage. Does that mean it resists? I did get attacked. I don't think so.
Probably. It just says. It does say any attack.
Okay, if it says attack, then it's attack. It's not attack, it's just bleeding, as it were. Okay. So it's silenced, blinded, and stupefied. I think so. Reasonably speaking, I think the only thing that makes any sense for this, I'm going to make a quick roll, and see if it does the get it off me dance, and otherwise, it's just going to run. So it's key attributes. Logic. Okay, it does. It has 2d6 for logic. It's not completely incompetent. Where's my other d6? There it is. With that roll, it is not going to do the get it off me dance. It is going to do the exit stage left, which means it turns around to what it thinks is away from the caravan, i.e., back the way it came, which is not actually back the way it came now. It's actually would be taking it closer to the caravan just because of the way you had it walking away from the caravan. Now it's going to be running back the other way, and bolts. It covers 80 feet of ground because it's going to use its major action and its minor action to run away from whatever the thing it is that's sticking it in the eye.
Who is holding on for dear life?
What happens to be in the way of that? Out of curiosity.
Well, yes. Let's talk about that and have you all roll a d8, please. As a reminder, when twisting fate, ones explode down.
But I rolled an 8.
That's good.
And a 4.
Just a 5.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm exploding down though, Sam.
No.
Oh no.
Wait, how do explosions down work when I roll a 1 then an 8?
That essentially you just make the number a negative.
Yeah,
So
but what if
8s
I then
from that point, 8s keep you're digging a hole, right?
Oh no, so I keep digging.
Yes.
Same way.
Oh.
So I got a -11.
Minus 11. All right. And so what's the total for the rest of the group?
I've got a 5.
5.
Total is 6.
6. That is not a great roll.
Because you got a 12, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's not great. And I think this thing is essentially stupefied. It is completely unconcerned with anything. It can't see where it's going. It's not even running over real terrain. Yeah, that's the thing. It's running through the terrain in its head, not the terrain it's on. And so it is going to bulldozer through a stand of trees, which is in turn going to wind up basically throwing, logs that that Mysel would have difficulty wrapping his arms around into the air in all directions. And they in turn are going to come tumbling down the hill, and smashing through demon and defender alike. It's just going to work out that unfortunately defenders are going to come out worse on that end. All right.
Our poor mercenaries who were doing so well, a few of them got trampled.
Until we got involved.
All right.
Those poor mercenaries who I gave faces and names. No, I didn't give them names, actually. I think I gave
But you died already if you had.
Faces and personalities.
Yep. All right. So, okay. So the mercenary battle now is outcome is currently at a -1. All right. So that means on your next collective round, I am randomly going to pick someone and inform you that you have a disadvantage 1 on your roll because you're having to dodge incoming small scrabbly things armed with pitchforks and knives. Or in the case of Spider, flappy things armed with pitchforks and knives.
It's because they're kind of like scorpion-esque.
Yes.
I kind of hate the image of these scorpion creatures suddenly turning around and then like just producing wings, and you're like, oh, they fly too. Good.
Yeah, it's the worst kind of necromancy that probably Mysel has ever seen, where 2 or 3 bodies are mashed together to create this scorpionoid creature. Yes.
It's also this like, the scary bug that you didn't like before now also has wings. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh. Go away.
Unnecessary roughing, yells the player. Right. So that's its first action. Now it gets 3 more. It has 3 major actions. It does not get its stupefy, but it should get its stupefy at the end of its primary turn. Yes. Stupefy resist.
Think so.
Yep.
Oh, I just remembered. Okay.
So it gets 2d20 because it has advantage 1 on resist rolls.
Very rude.
So I am currently hasted, and I should get an extra major action, but I don't think I actually used teleport to teleport. I was just running really fast.
I believe you explicitly said you wanted to use the teleport because it looked cool.
Well, yeah, but that's sort of how we're flavoring.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
In haste, right? Because my movement.
Oh, yes,
is
yes.
So I think I had to use that extra action that haste gives me to run.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Yes. Yeah. The special effect is it looks like you teleport, but in point of fact, you're mechanically just running like hell. Yes. So it rolls a 7 and a 15. So it is going to shake off the stupefy.
Well, we got 1 action out of it. Can't.
Okay. All right. Now. I think I'm going to use. I think it's going to use one of its major actions to attempt to resist the hypnosis.
Oh, I think it beat the hypnosis.
Oh,
immediately.
Okay. Oh, is that okay? Then some. So okay, so
in the same way that it beat.
Yeah. No, okay. So actually, never mind. Then that entire little bit didn't happen because it actually is running the right way. And thus is not blundering through terrain it cannot see. I completely got that wrong. So yeah, so there was no requirement to roll Twist of Fate there. Never mind. Sorry. So yes, instead it's going to try and get rid of the blinded. I think that makes sense for it. So that will be its first boss move, and it rolls a 12 and an 11 and a 12. So the blinded is gone. It is so sufficiently screwed up, however, with its running around and everything else that has gone on, that I think it probably should make a perception check as a major action to try and figure out what the hell is going on around it. Now, does it... Okay, it is... I remember now, yes. Boom. Boom. It has life drain up. Now, it would have automatically dropped that because it lost... Because when it was stupefied, it doesn't get to sustain. So it no longer has that running. So, okay, it has 2 major actions left and doesn't know what's going on. On the other hand, it's also beaten to tar. So I think it is going to use its 2 major actions. One to cast Regeneration on itself, and the next one to cast Heal on itself. And that will use up its... So, yeah, 2, and then there are 2 more. Yes, that would be everything. So let's roll the Regeneration first. D20, and Regeneration is its alteration, which is 2d6, not great. It gains advantage 3 on that. Okay, it rolls a 1. That's good. It rolls on the d20. It rolls a 1 and a 2. So I'm going to try and improve the 1. Well, if it rolls 2 exploding dice, it may be able to turn Regeneration on. So it has 3 chances to upgrade. The first one is a 2, which is in fact better than a 1. So that leaves it 2 chances to upgrade. It rolls a 6, which will explode. And it's got 1 more chance to upgrade. I'll roll that. And that is a 6. So we have 2 6s which can explode. First 6, so it has 12. Plus 2 is 14. Plus 2 is 16, which is power level 3, which is, I believe, barely enough to turn on a d6. Yes, so it gets 1 d6 regeneration. One d6. All right, roll that right away because it desperately needs the health.
I know.
And rolls a 1.
I know it might not be relevant to where it's at health right now, but it should be at minus 15 max health currently.
Yes, that is correct. I'm tracking its lethal damage.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. And then it will then try and get a heal to work. And it uses presence for its heal, which is a much better stat for it. 3d10. Okay. All right, the dice absolutely love you folks tonight. The d20 is an 8. Okay. Ooh, okay. So there's a 4, a 6, and a natural 10. Okay, very good. So I'll try and improve I have 3 advantage dice to spend. Try and improve the 4. That's a 1, which is not an improvement. That's a 3, which is not an improvement. And that's a 7, which is. So it has a 7, a 6, and an exploded 10. The 10 becomes a 13, 26, and 8 is 34. So it has plenty of power level. Boon heal. Okay. It that allows it to roll up to 3d10 for healing on itself.
How? What did it roll? Oh.
Mm-hmm. What?
Sorry. It had regenerate, and then and now it's rolling healing. Never mind. No, sorry.
Yep. So that's a 1, a 9, and a 5. So it's going to heal 15 points of damage. So that brings it to 15. Okay, brings it to. So it's still badly beaten up. It is not content, but it is also not in. It is far less likely to be driven from the battlefield now. All right, and that's all of its actions done. Which brings us to 5, I believe, and back to Spider. What would Spider like to do under these circumstances, given the recent charging about, and yeah.
Just get the sword that's in the eye and swivel it like you're stirring a cocktail stick.
Yeah, do keep in mind that by definition, if you're touching it, it can feel you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, for lack of a better way of putting it, mashing by Braille makes its eventual attack on you fairly inevitable.
That's the thing when you sort of go, oh, what the hell is that? You reach up to your neck and you come away and it's like, oh, it was a mosquito.
Yeah.
Emphasis on was.
Mosquito gets 1 chance to dodge that, right?
I mean, most mosquitoes can't teleport. I assume.
We're all desperately hoping.
I believe they must be able to, because trying to spray them is hell. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that they could just simply disappear and reappear somewhere else.
Fair.
Yeah, when you're a sufficiently small, irritating critter that quantum uncertainly begins to defend you.
That's how I get around.
I think I'm just on my anime bullshit. It's like I've been hanging on for dear life. It's finally stopped in the middle of the thing, so I pull them out and just start like slashing wildly as I'm descending down its body.
Sure.
So first attack has lethal strike, so it's advantage 1. $14 plus an 8 plus an 8. That's 22, 30 total. And
Wow.
its guard is still reduced by 2. Is it still blinded?
No, it is. It has recovered its blindness.
Okay.
And I'm going to suggest to you that as long as you're actually, quote, essentially, because you cannot fly, you must essentially be climbing this thing. And so I'm not really
now
sure.
I'm reverse climbing it. I'm just sort of like
Yeah, but the point is that I'm not
stabbing,
really sure that it doesn't know where you are as you're attempting to stab it.
Yeah, I think that
Which would be the point of the guard, so I don't think the guard reduction would apply.
Well,
so,
hang on, let me.
I mean, you still hit it. I mean, there's no question there. You still hit it.
I'm just checking the exact wording on invisible because it's very specific about what applies which bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're essentially playing the world's most vicious game of blindsmen of pin.
It's not. Yeah, it specifically says targets that can't see you. It's not about whether they know where you are, right?
All right, fair enough.
Because it doesn't know exactly where the sword's going to land next.
Fair enough. All right then. So yes, it has a guard then of 21, and your rolls are what?
Then if it's trying to attack me, it would get a perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would, if I'm currently stabbing it, it would know that because I can't hide against something I'm currently stabbing.
Right.
Yeah. So I rolled 30 total.
All right. So yeah, that's a. Then you've done 8 points of damage to it,
which is not enough for a Bane, right? It has
Correct.
to be 10 over. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I don't think I'd get lethal strike on the second. Let me read that.
No. It like I say, at this point, it knows you're there. You are not taking it by surprise.
Yeah.
Lethal strike is completely
caught off
dependent on
guard or otherwise unaware of the attack. Such
Yeah.
as when you're hidden. Yeah, I'm not hidden. Yeah. Okay. There's no wait. Is it now within melee attack range of another ally?
No.
Right. It trampled the ones that it was in range of.
Correct.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So right, it only got 1 lethal that round. Okay, so this one has disadvantage 3 then, but let's hope for this. I'm going to use different d20 this time.
Ah, yes, dice mythology.
Hey, it worked. I got a 19.
Wonderful.
5 and 4 are currently the highest.
5
and 4 are still the highest, and okay, it's a 5 and a 4.
right.
19 plus 9, 28.
28. That's fine. That's 5 more points. All right.
Stabby.
Yep, it's really not happy with you.
Well, it keeps healing, and no one else is dealing damage. Oh.
It's probably going to want to have a discussion about your manners in just one moment here.
You're invisible, and the time that I tried to hurt it or tried to do anything, I nearly died. So I mean, I feel as though I did what I could. I gave to the team. I gave them a cause, and now I'm gonna just make sure I'm okay.
You have creation, right? Why don't you create an explosion inside its back?
It's funny how that doesn't work for this particular kind of creature. I'm basically rendered helpless with this particular creature. very specific with my creation and my entropy. Can't use either of them on that. So I'll stay
Not
here.
great.
I'll stay
Okay.
here and heal people.
You keep creating morale and
Creating morale and making sure as many people as possible stay alive, including that bard of yours. You kill it. And all of this is Alexandria just waving around a wine glass. I don't know where she got it from. She has it.
She created it.
what?
She created it. Look, I created wine. Absolutely magic. You want some? Give me some.
Is there anything equivalent to like a concentration check for the regeneration when it gets hurt?
Nope, it has sustain. It has improved concentration, so it just automatically sustains 1 boon.
I just don't know how that works because I don't know how spells work that much in this.
No, essentially, as long as you're conscious, you can just sustain something.
Yeah, but that's sustain. That's not someone actively doing something. That's you holding on to a spell. So, like Alexandria can hold on to a spell, but if someone actively tries to distract her from it, I feel like that's different. But I don't know if that's mechanically different. But I know that it would be physically different.
Yeah, no. I don't recall having seen anything equivalent to the D&D wisdom check for
if you deal 10 plus damage, you can cause a target to stop sustaining a boon. Says GM.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, neat.
Good to know.
Yeah, that is actually very cool.
Yeah. So you can. So instead of, I'm assuming that's instead of.
In other words,
instead of dealing a bane.
Yeah, massive damage, right?
Hmm.
So yes, if Spider was to pile drive this thing for 10, 12 points of damage, then they could make the decision instead of baning to stop it from regenerating, which is actually a really nice piece of utility. I like that. That's actually very cool.
That is cool. All right.
Well, because a lot of times, we just saw there's like, okay, so what bane makes sense here? Well, okay, we'll go with this one because of bane, because we may as well put a bane on it versus let's get rid of its heal. Yes, that's I like that. Cool. Okay then. So my soul, it falls to you.
So my soul on you at this creature that fled for a moment and then regained its.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's it's difficult. It's the epitome of an alien mind. It's like it's very difficult to maintain. And my soul's still just sort of like and does the sort of like eyes start and pinching the brow, and then when he opens his eyes, instead of like the gray cataract, it's flaming yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And he folds into himself and becomes Hio.
Nice.
And Hio sort of comes out and it immediately sort of has a combination of like, because as Hio is very good at the working out what's going on in the moment is better than that. But also suddenly goes and sort of grips at his chest.
Uh-huh.
Because I think it's been a while since they've done a transformation while wounded.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And amusingly, my soul has more hit points than Hio.
Oh.
Not by a lot, and not that in a way that makes any difference at the moment. But
what happens when he turns back?
Ow.
More ow.
It's really only a problem if Mysel tries to turn into, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as like the druid issue.
It might be a problem if Mysel tried to turn into Hio when Mysel had taken more damage than Hio could take.
Yeah.
Might be
that would be a problem. That would be a very big problem.
But we're talking about it's like 2 more health. So it's like,
okay,
we're in a bad place either way. He's also, that's like takes most of the turn to do, and this creature's now out of range of everything that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to try and do, I'm just going to roll dice without it really needing to do a lot. Just going to breathe a bunch of fire on a bunch of these creatures.
Sure thing.
The little ones, with his hasted action, which I think a lot of the disadvantage gets removed. So yeah, it creates an amount of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Where an amount is ow, Bernie, ow, this hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, rolled not amazing. 17.
Well, okay, so is that why what's power level 3? That's still a good decent energy. That's still a good decent blast of energy.
It's just it's an area attack. He's just sort of like
Yep.
just does a section of space gets covered in fire.
Yeah, fair enough. Do me a favor, make a
fine,
note. Make a note for yourself that if I ask you to do a twist of fate roll, that you have advantage 1 on that roll.
Okay.
All right. Essentially, your action is going to create a fire break, literally, that will give your troops a place they don't have to worry about things charging at them from. Right.
Cool. I think that's me.
Yeah. Very good. Okay.
That has been done.
And that brings us to Alexandri. Alexandri, it is a very hurty world. It is a very hurty world now. The fire-breathing dragon.
Yes. So question with regeneration. Sam is still the same character. Sam is both
Mechanically,
the characters.
Sam is Sam. Yes, the magic does not change because Sam did.
So D4. Please, Sam. Ooh, I rolled a 4.
So you're going to regenerate 4, and he regenerate
6 because it's a D4 exploded.
Oh, very nice. And go ahead, Sam. Roll your regen. D4.
3.
There you go. Gain 3.
Please explain to me, what does this all look the fuck like?
So at your back, if you will,
yes,
you have so imagine the bottom here is the river.
Mm-hmm.
There's a semicircle, which is the caravan, which has basically, literally, all the caravan wagons are in a semicircle. The large bovines decided that the water seemed to be a safer place than the demons. They're off having a stomp and a drink, and a periodic bit of shoveling and foot soccer with any demon dumb enough to crawl into the water to go get them. Football, sorry. Yeah. So your grandmother was last seen, basically holding down one corner of the arc by herself, so that to stop a group that was circling around to come in at the side. Directly to the north, if you will, directly inland, was the land slopes upwards. You are in a valley, right? And so the 100-odd meters upwards rises 20-odd meters, fairly steep slope. And it is over that the creature came lumbering, and the little horde of demonlings, scrabblings, came charging down as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so essentially, very hastily, the defenders, threw out the charge breakers and things like that, and have been blasting away with crossbow and stabbing away with pike at everything that has come into range. So far, they're holding their own. The problem is they're out. Essentially, these things are cannon fodder. Your troops are mowing them down at 6-1, right? The problem is you're going to run into crossbow bolts.
Yes.
Which is why Heo throwing that pile of fire down is actually such a huge influence, right?
Yeah.
It basically means there's an area that does not need to be defended anymore. Likewise, the Rose and then Granite, and the Rose is holding down one corner, and Granite and your plant are holding down the other corner against everything that is trying to do an end run, right? Because that was one of the earliest flanking maneuvers they tried. They're not stupid. They are relatively cunning creatures.
Yes.
And so that has concentrated the battle directly ahead of the caravan, with this now patch of brilliant firelight having split it essentially into 2 battles. Directly on the other side of that patch of fire is where the thing is.
Okay.
It had come down the hill. Heo had hit it with its deceptionary move. It had been then... Essentially, its version of the world was rotated 90 degrees. It had wandered off parallel to the river, and then broke through the illusion, turned around, and came, and we're starting to come back, and then had the eek moment where it just charged ahead.
Yes.
So it's now back essentially in front of the caravan, but really hasn't gotten any closer than when Spider first said, "I've had enough of this," and just jumped on it.
Okay.
And yeah, so there are trees, there are thickets, there are stones, there are shadows, flashes of lightning, whirling wind, fire crackling in the background, fire crackling in the foreground, etc.
Whirling wind. Tell me about that. So what's the direction of that wind at the moment? Is it favoring us, or like is it?
It is an anime storm. It is whipping around constantly because it's completely not natural. It is reality fighting with the fact that there is so powerful a daemon here. He's not allowed to be here, and he is anyway.
Is the daemon the thing controlling that storm?
No.
Would I be able to tell? The daemon's not controlling it. It is nature itself controlling the fact that storm exists, because it doesn't like the fact that he's here.
Right, and so it is just lashing the area almost. Nature is having an allergic reaction to its existence.
Okay.
To the Voidal Daemon's existence. That's the best way of describing this. And as I say, you've seen this before in other encounters. Smithers was the most noticeable, right?
Yeah.
As he approached the camp, you could basically feel the weather change, and as soon as he left, it went back to being a clear night within moments. Right. And so you seeing this behavior again, you're going, okay, I've seen this before.
How close to the daemon is the fire that is currently around?
It depends. Are you trying to get it to run or attack? And the reason I ask is because we're hand waving some distances. I'm using descriptions like kind of far away.
That's what so way. Like, okay, let me rephrase the question. Is it possible that I could ask the old nature whether or not we could get the smoke and the fire headed in the direction of the daemon? Also, unfortunately, Spider, because but can
the big one ran was it 80 yards in the opposite direction?
80 feet. And like I said, because it's actually gone up the hill of it. So it's at least 80 feet beyond. So it would be hypothetically, it would be I'd have to double check your spell ranges are based on the power level, I believe. And so I believe it would be at least a medium, which means you might have a disadvantage 1, but yeah, it wouldn't be horrible.
Spell range doesn't go beyond 75 feet.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was looking for the right time to cut in because I realized there's one other thing I should have done on my turn, which is get the fuck off this thing. I have movement.
Yeah, that would be a good time because what I'm thinking of now.
You're on the ground a short distance away from this thing. Then.
Yeah. How tall is it?
It is 15 feet across, which means it's probably 30 feet tall. 30
right.
So.
Speed,
5 to 6 meters this way, so 10 to 12 meters that way.
Yeah. Well, with my speed, that means I can get 30 feet down and get 20 feet away from it before.
Fair enough.
With my movement.
Can I see you?
No.
Okay, so
I have no idea where he is. Correct.
I have no idea where you are. So what I'm going to do?
I'm 20 feet away from it, but you don't need to know that.
I don't know in what direction either. I would like the flames to chase it.
Sure.
I'm not going to try using creation on it because that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to try to use the fire that's already existing and try to create favorable winds to get it pushing in that direction.
Yeah, sure. Let's see that happen then. That's either movement, shoving, or it's alteration, basically for changing the nature of the storm.
I don't have either. I was thinking of using creation.
Oh, okay, then.
Essentially, you're going to bolster. Bolstering the wind, creating and adding to that wind that exists. Okay, because it's not strong enough as it is, so I wanted to create more to push it.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
You could do a summon creatures and turn little motes of fire to run after it.
That would be cute, but ineffective in the long run.
And it would be
for the short run. It would be a long run for them. They would be so small.
Well, depends on your power level.
I mean, at that point, I may as well ask the birds to pick up small branches with fire on it and fly after. No, I'm not even going to finish the sentence. I don't want the birds to hear that. Whew, that was close. Okay. Okay, so something exploded. That's nice. Oh no, I was wrong. Nothing exploded, but I rolled a 20 anyway.
Nice. All right. So that will give you a power level 5.
5. Good. That was just creation, just by itself. So I don't know how much that.
Hang on a second here. Boons. Let's see. What would that be then?
From a boon perspective, I was kind of bolstering the fire.
Yeah.
The fire. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, just creation. Like I was just creating. So it's just how much you
so
yeah, it could just be the improvise action.
Yeah, well, I'm just what I'm doing is I'm just taking a quick look at things like bolster and genesis, which are sort of the combination of what she's trying to do, right? And so power level 5, you can do things like non-sentient plant matter, 5 cubic feet per attribute point of the invoking attribute. So you're already working with an existing fire, you're manipulating the wind, whatever. So yeah, okay. So what's your stat? Your actual creation stat.
My actual creation stat's a 6.
All right, so I will say that you have managed to extend a tongue of fire that is crawling up the hill 30 feet, is now 30 feet closer to the creature.
Okay.
And so if you keep doing that, you can slowly shepherd the fire towards it, just keeping in mind that you don't actually have control over it. It's not a magical fire or anything like that. In other words, you're creating a wildfire that is burning in a particular direction. Yes. You can't tell it to stop.
Nope. No, I cannot. No, I cannot. I'm aware.
Which is sort of what would be, if you're using, let's say, a barrier effect or whatever, you can just snap your fingers, the barrier goes away, whatever. No, you are adding to the fire, literally.
I am saying, hey, nature, I also see a problem with this. How about we do something about that?
Yep. Okay.
That's the conversation I'm having with the song of the world right now.
Yes, exactly.
How about that? Look at that, making it narrative.
Yep, I like
nature,
that.
Bobby, just let me do this.
All right, then. It's going to go. It gets its major action and its 3 bosses, and then we will take a quick break. So let's get this taken care of. So I'm going to, first off, it is going to use, hang on a second, what's that ability? Boop, boop, boop. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. All right. Yeah, okay. It is going to, first off, so if it is attempting to find you, Spider, what does it have to roll?
Perception, is that the stat? What the stat?
Yes, perception, yep.
No, yeah, perception. I don't.
And it has like disadvantage 5 or something on the roll, doesn't it?
No, I get advantage on the hide.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It might be a contested roll with Spider getting advantage.
Yeah, let's just check that out then. Bane.
Hiding isn't an action in this
game. Yeah, well, it is. It's essentially concealment, and that is a power level sort of thing. Yeah, that isn't, but essentially yes.
Well, it gives him. It gives if it knows like
perception rolls perception rolls partially based on sight that can be supplemented by another sense. Gain suffer disadvantage 5. So yes, so it gets to make a perception roll. It has disadvantage 5 on the roll.
What's that roll?
That's actually right in the description for blinded.
Oh, it's blinded as well now. Sorry, I missed that.
Yes, you. Oh no, it's not blinded anymore. No, you are invisible. Yes, sorry, never mind.
The way invisible is worded, it says advantage 3 to hide. I don't know what hiding is. It's
Yes.
not
So
like
hiding would be so hiding is the old mechanic, essentially where you just make an absolute yes/no check. And what you would do is you roll your agility, so you gain advantage
So-
3 on your on agility.
So
Like-
am I then doing that contested by its perception? Is that
Yes, I think that is the most reasonable way to do it.
Okay.
It's not an absolutism because the circumstances of the battle are fluid and changing. So you'll roll, I'll roll, you gain your advantage.
yeah?
And then if it cannot actually find you, that will inform whether or not it's going to stomp you.
Great Moustache in chat has said roll to hide versus perception.
Yep, very good.
Makes
All right,
sense.
so all total, it gets 2d10 and advantage 3. So I am going to need to roll another d10.
You're not gonna like to hear that I rolled a 20 on the d20. But,
Actually, I love to hear that kind of stuff. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds great.
Particularly when I start out with rolling a 6.
oh god,
Um,
this is gonna be a monster roll.
Yeah, but you say that. You've said that like pretty much every roll. It's like, all right, I rolled a 6, but then it's rolling so many other dice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no.
true. So I got a 20 on the d20 with advantage 3. I've got a 9 and a 10.
Yeah, now, so the d20 is going to essentially you treat your stat as 1 level higher. That's the effect of the exploding 20.
I thought it exploded itself.
Okay, so actually that's something I wanted to talk to you. So one of the
Sure.
things that a lot of some of the discussion currently is that an exploding 20 is maniacally on game unbalancing. So one prototype rule I've seen going around, and we're experimenting with it a couple of other games, is if you roll a natural 20 on the d20, you're treated as having 1 extra point on your stat for both the number of dice you roll and the power level you can control. You are literally stepping up into the next power range just for that scene. So it allows. So
then the
You
my
sort of have to
d10
roll
roll.
the d20 before rolling the other dice, though.
Yeah, you would presume that. Yeah.
I see.
Well, I mean,
rolled them at
the
same time, but I can change from the 2d10 to what I believe is 3d8s.
Yep. Well, that's just it. If he rolls it's a 20, I'm not going to sure. I doubt. I'm not convinced any player is going to say, "Oh no, I have to roll bigger dice."
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Now, here's the thing, and it was actually something I meant to bring up while we were on break, and I just never typed the message out. Are you folks okay with that idea as a change? Because the experimentation I've done in my other games is it shaves off these ridiculous things because it works both ways. It means the boss does not roll a 90 or something ridiculous on you.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think that's fair. Like some of the most ridiculous rolls we've had in this game have all been off those d20 explodes. Like,
well, because
I shot 5 guys dead in 1 shot or whatever.
Yes, because you actually had the maniacal luck to have a double d20 explosion.
Yeah,
right. And so your base was 40.
And that's it, right? Because it sort of like it counteracts having disadvantage as well. I think I had disadvantage 5 on that roll, and I still rolled a 50 something because like All right, I just need to fetch another d8.
Yep, sure thing.
Under the table. There we go.
Oh, sure. One of those, is it?
Well, they've all fallen off in the month that we've been apart because I have my dice just here, and then they all just go scatter.
Yeah.
All right. So forget those d10s that I rolled. I get these d8s. So that's 1 8, 1 7, 1 5, and then I have advantage 3.
Yep.
So that's an 8 and 2 7s. So the 8 explodes.
He's never going to see it.
Into another 7.
So that's just not going to happen. You're safe. So it knows where absolutely everything else is on the battlefield, but not a farting clue about you.
A 49 was the total.
Yeah. Gosh, it didn't even roll half that. So yeah, it has no idea where you are. Right then, which is probably really good news for you because it's literally going to be the image, if you will, the camera is Spider up against a rock, and all you can see on the other side of a rock is the ankle.
Yeah.
All right. So, not having been able to find you means it's not going to stomp you, which is probably really good news for you. But it does mean it can really easily see that dragon. Hello there, dragon. It likes
Rawr.
dragons. They're tasty.
Tasty dragon.
Um,
What does dragon taste like?
We're about to find out. The last, in fact, I believe from Heo's own admonition to Smithers, excellent. They're delicious. So yes, this thing is going to rumble on forward towards Heo. So that's its major action was its look. Its movement action was 40 feet of movement, which puts it slightly more than one move away from Heo, but because of the respective sizes of the two creatures, that's a real ish factor. It still has 2 Banes on it. It has persistent damage, which it needs to take. Why don't you roll that for me there, Spider?
Oh yes, it's another D8. 7.
Wow, yeah, that one's paying you well. It does get its D6 of regeneration.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just saying in chat, I think I've done 60 plus damage to this thing, and it's still at like practically max.
No, actually, it's nowhere near max. It's less than half.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You've very, it's.
I just keep hearing that it heals 15 damage and it heals 6
Well, yes,
damage.
it's just what's happening is it's been hanging around about 3/8 of its hit points now for most of the fight, because every time it starts to get ahead in healing, one of you stomps it. So it's like it's right on the threshold of I don't have time for this anymore, but it just keeps getting just that slight bit ahead where. So it needs to get rid of that silenced. So I'm going to use one of its major actions to try and shrug that off, because it just can't do anything of real value as long as it's silenced. It rolls a 6 and a 3.
Still silenced.
So it does not. Okay, so that's 1 strike on its silenced. I guess it's going to use another.
I don't think silenced has that. I'll double check, but I don't think silenced has that thing where it stays on.
I think they all do.
Oh, they do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like if you fail 3 times, it just lasts for like a minute.
Oh, right.
So it's
We'd
going
be
to try
getting
again.
for like half of that anyway.
Yeah, we're 5 rounds of combat in, so I go roughly. I kind of stick to the old school D&D thing of about 6 seconds for a round, because they, the diving around and yelling back and forth at each other and stuff like that, clash of swords and blah blah. So yeah, you guys have been at this for almost half a minute now. Yeah. So I'm going to actually use. So it has 3 other major actions. Its boss moves. It's used 1 trying to resist. I'm going to use a second one on that resist, just trying to get rid of that. And that is a 16 and a 7. So the silence comes off, which means it actually has tactical options now. All right. It's actually good. It's going to have to put up with the persistent damage. Essentially, the persistent damage is the most easily mitigated thing it has to deal with so far, with all of the boons all of the banes you've been slapping on it. So that leaves it with 1 remaining. With 1 remaining major action. So, and let's see what makes. Okay, so just straight up, it's just going to unload an entropy blast at the dragon.
Boo.
And entropy versus toughness. So it is rolling 3d10 for entropy. It has attack specialization 3. Which brings that up to 6 dice, and then it gains 3 advantage on top of that because of because of its boss edge. So it's going to be rolling 9d10, keep the highest 3. Let's see where we go.
I don't like it.
All right, a 4 on the 20. Good grief. And then, okay, so we have a natural 10, a 7, and a 4. So I have 6 tries to upgrade the dice. So 1, trying to improve the 4, I roll a 7. Very good. Let's see if I can, so that's 1, a 2, that is not higher. 3, that's another 1, that is not higher. 4, that's a 2, that's not higher. 5 is 4, that is not higher. And 6 is a 7. So a pair of 7s and a 10. The 10 explodes, of course, and comes up a 1. So we have 11, 14, and 4. 11 and 14 is 25, and 4 is a 29 versus your toughness.
It's toughness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's like
tough.
9 overall damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 9 damage.
All right. And just one sec. And then entropy versus toughness. It is going to apply, hang on a second. Potent Bane, Superior Bane Focus, Fatigued. There we go. So it's just going to apply a level of fatigue to you. You are exhausted as this blast of pure death. It's the antithesis of life.
Pure death.
Yeah. Literally, the grass between you two withers, these tendrils of purple vapor, course through the air, bugs die, that kind of thing. And that's what's going to ripples through you. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go on a date with this.
No.
You have to think about it. But on balance, like the extra hands makes it a question mark. But the everything dying in its wake kind of, kills the mood.
Yes,
It's really a killjoy party.
Unless you like that.
Keep an eye out for the bonus stream where we play Smash or Pass with Voidaldum.
Smash. I'm muting.
All right then, and so when we get back, it will be Spider's turn.
He's a 10. That's also the number of limbs he has.
So he's an 11.
And none of them are the correct limbs.
Oh, so he's a 4. -1 for each limb that's not correct. Leaves him with 3 that are correct. I can't do math. Let's go to a break. Anyone thinks about it. Bye.
Smash. Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You
Think they'd be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds, and they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Eric? Eric.
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
He's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Hugo's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
So reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city.
Yes.
I'm not gonna eat the city. Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You...
Think don't be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Eric? Eric.
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
He's a vegan!
Oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Hugo's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
Sort of reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city.
Yes.
I'm not gonna eat the city. Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You...
Think don't be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Aerith? Aerith,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
Oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Hugo's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
Sort of reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city. I'm not
Yes.
gonna eat the city.
Yes.
I'm not gonna eat the city.
Sambro.
Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You...
Think don't be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems
Bam!
Bam!
We're back.
Bam! I did it.
Yay! All right then.
It was having a brief chat with GM in chat about invisible and being able to target with attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of is narrative in the sense that, like, if it makes sense that they might know where to attack you, they could. There's also like some suggestions where you could treat it like blind with the disadvantage 5. I was also thinking, like, if you do the perception versus hide, you could have disadvantage for each 5 over that the hide is, or something like that, as well as the plus guard.
Yeah.
Because like there's obviously some knowledge of whereabouts I might be if it wants to try and smack me or beam me, or it's a bit harder with a beam thing because it's like that has to know where you are, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So
'Cause
from my way of
to
looking
target
at it,
toughness, it
Yeah.
would have to know where I am.
So, and again, this is sort of where we get into that discussion. For me, the question is what's going to make a certain level of it is the narrative sense of it. You know, the old joke is, I don't care what your stealth roll is, I'm using Fireball.
Yeah, well, that's it.
You know,
It does specifically say in the new concealment thing that AoE attacks, if they're in the right area, don't.
I think it says that in
effective.
invisibility as well, but
you know, the American military version of that statement is, when in doubt, grenade it out. You know, and it's just. But yes, if someone's going to try and leap into where they last saw you, slashing away with a sword, meanwhile you're standing 20 feet away, that I don't care what they're, you know, the issue is, do they have a vague idea where you are? If the answer is no, they're not hitting you. You know, and to me,
like, do they know where to fireball? Is the
yes, exactly. I personally tend to,
in any direction.
I tend to go with the slightly absolute invisibility causes nightmares for both players and GM. In that the players will all, you know, because again, if you're allowed to do it, so the villains, and the last thing the players probably want to put up with is, you know, one of those ninja assassin, you know, one of the Oni showing up with invisibility. And on the opening strike, you know, they're gaining 5 extra dice to wallop you into the ground, doing lethal blah blah blah. So they're, you know, we've got to sort of figure out what the balance is there. But for me, as a minimum, you know, the biggest criteria is it's the proverbial dark and stormy night. There's an awful lot going on, and you're not just standing there yelling "na na 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 na." You're actually trying not to be seen. Okay. Now, eventually, there's a Monty Python sketch which will come out of this, but for now, he's got enough other things going on the you know, the Voidal Daemon has enough other things going on the battlefield that it's not really that focused on you. Yeah. When it can tell where you're at and it can do something about you, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But until that happens, you're fine. Essentially, you know, to borrow the other phrases, your armor is not getting caught.
I don't know what that means.
No, literally, if he sees you, you're done. Quite likely.
Right. Not getting caught, as in not getting seen. I thought for some reason I was thinking it's like your armor's not catching on something.
Oh no, no. You're what? Yes, as long as it doesn't see you, then it doesn't matter what your armor value is. And if it does see you, it very possibly still doesn't matter what your armor value is, but not in a good way. All right. Yeah. By the way, Great Mustache, I do deeply appreciate you throwing your wisdom and insights into the game system into the chat. It is remarkably useful. So yeah, it's a delight having you in the audience when we're playing.
Absolutely.
As much I think, because you know, it's because of the depth of knowledge, but also just the idea that essentially we're you know, doing a good enough job of the game system that it's worth your attention. So thank you. So that brings us now to speaking of Spider not getting caught. I think it's time to find out if Spider gets caught. So Spider, it's your initiative.
I'd like to do a thing.
Would you now?
Thing you say.
And mechanically, I'm already able to do it, but I want to use. I want it to make a bit more sense. So I'm going to invoke my perk of being observant.
All right. Yep.
Which is that once per session, my keen senses allow me to notice details that others typically miss.
Sure.
I would like to work out where this creature's, like, effectively its center of movement, its spine.
Yep. Okay.
What lets it do the moving thing?
Magic. Remember, I keep telling you that these things are anatomically improbable and kinesiologically improbable. For lack of a better way of putting it, I think what you are going to conclude after having essentially had a few moments of braille with this thing is that it's not really there. What you're dealing with is as close to a version of what you're You see, reality doesn't want this thing here, and your brain doesn't want to really argue that much with reality. So collectively, the three of you, it, reality, and you, have come up with a compromise that roughly resembles something you can put up with.
Right.
What this thing actually looks like, you would have to go to its native plane to find out.
Yeah, I understand. Does that mean it is immune to incapacitation?
No. It means that you're going to have to come up with some way to overwhelm its defenses to the point where the magic that is keeping it here goes, hang on, I'm busy trying to glue my feet to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, you're not trying to physically... I guess the best metaphor is you're attempting to sever the silver cord. You're not going for a thing. You're not going for a real target. You're not trying to sever a spinal column. You're trying to do so much damage or hit it so hard with raw will or raw whatever that it goes, wow, your reality really sucks. I may just go home. And that, by definition, basically puts it on pause in this reality. So yes, you can. So mechanically, it can be incapacitated, but it's not going to be. I for lack of a better way of putting it, having Alexandri, charge your sword with creation magic before you stab it is probably just as effective a tool as you slathering poison on the blade, if not more so. Right?
Yeah.
So yes,
I'm narratively trying to work out if there is a realm where I can apply incapacitated, which I normally apply with agility. If it doesn't really make sense, then I don't want to go.
So here's the thing: is it has to, for it to exist in this reality, it has to obey all the laws of this reality. And so it does have a corporeal body. You can poke it. If the corporeal body gets to a point where it's taken a certain amount of damage, it just stops working and it, evaporates, as you've seen other Voidal Daemons do. And so you can just beat this thing to death. But, yes, but, I think the thing that's going to kind of strike your mind is, when you're looking at this thing is, there's no real, it's such a mishmash of internal workings that are all vaguely plausible that it really doesn't have anything like a spinal column. It's kind of like saying, where's the spine on a squid? Well, the answer is it has 27 of them. And that makes getting rid of a squid really awkward. Right? Okay, where's the brain on a cephalopod? In its legs. What?
Everywhere.
Yeah. And so, like I say, that's sort of the crux of this. Yeah, it's sort of okay that it looks like this and moves like that, but that's also the reason it's firmly in the middle of Uncanny Valley on both counts. Is because it's as close to how it ought to work as anyone's willing to deal with. So yeah, you can just essentially for you to agility, might, energy, all of those usual things for incapacitation are legit, but what you're just realizing is there's no sort of, unlike dealing with a human where there's a couple of off switches, the sternum, the C1, C2 joint, that kind of thing. No, this one, just overwhelming damage is really the answer for this thing.
Okay.
Overwhelming damage, overwhelming pain, overwhelming magic. You essentially have to, in some narrative way, hit it so hard that it gets distracted from reality.
So,
well,
just to his, could Alexandre talk at it so hard? Could she just give it a talking to so hard that it's like just a stream of unrelenting French? Because that distracts me from reality.
Yes, but that's for an entirely different reason.
I mean, I don't think it is. Just a barrage. So long and so intense. that you forget which plane of existence you're supposed to be on.
That would
Anyway,
be a
that's
heck of
what
a
I'm going to
presence
try.
roll.
Continue. Sorry, Jamie, I jumped in.
No, because it actually helped inspire the narrative follow up. I think for me that does
Alright.
make sense, which is that for a while now, Jasper has been hearing the song in the background, and that's sort of how all these manipulations of how he's become aware of his ability to manipulate time and space.
Yeah.
And I think he gives into it in this moment. And like rather than it being in the background, this is the first time that Spider embraces the song, begins to, I don't know, hum along to it probably. And
goes Spinal Tap, turns it up to 11.
That's it. This one goes to 11. And infuses it like throughout his body and sword.
I like that actually as a visual and a narrative. Yes, because it sort of harkens back to something that your brother did.
Yeah. And yeah, I want to go for a very specific mechanical thing. So rather than a normal attack, I'm just going to do a Bane attack.
Yep.
Which is incapacitate. My agility versus toughness.
All right.
Which I guess means I'm not even really getting much out of the invisibility because it's minus guard, but that's all right. This is the kind of thing I want to do.
Yeah. No, as a narrative, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one that I can't see again? Yes, 17. Sorry, the paint on this dice is a bit scuffed.
That's quite all right. That just means it's put in the hours.
That's it. Yeah. So that's a 17 and a 9 and an 8. Do I have
20
lethal strike from going out and in again or not?
Nope,
No,
because
no.
lethal strike is damage. Yeah, you didn't do damage.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not doing damage. You're quite right. Yeah. 17 plus 8 plus 9. 20.
So that's 17 plus 17. 34.
Yeah, 34.
And that's literally 10 above what your target to affect the Bane is.
Amazing.
So yes, you are
I drive the song into the center of its magic to incapacitate it.
And I think for everyone on the battlefield, what they're going to see is, of course, is that you are a safe distance away, and Alexandria is going to hear this happen. By the way, it is going to be the sound of an orchestral swell in the way, before some calamitous moment in a movie occurs. And then there's going to be this blur of sheet music, which arcs from the ground in this, in this Zephyr-like action. And then you're going to see very briefly Spider poised on top of this thing's head, basically engulfed in the notes and the shimmer and the gold of the song, and this thing is going to start thrashing back and forth.
Here's the purpose of it. The follow-up with my hasted action is I'm going to try and do a finishing blow, which you can only do against an incapacitated enemy.
All right. Now, hang on a second. I need to check
on bosses.
That's exactly what I was about
I
to
couldn't
check.
find anything in the rule book that said that. If that's true, then it's okay.
It is actually a thing. What it is it's actually under the boss design rules, and that's what makes it awkward. Now,
that said, rule of cool though. Rule of cool.
and yeah, I am sort of looking at that right now. So just give me a sec. I actually do sort of like the rule of cool concept.
Well, GM says finishing blows still reduce HP on bosses better.
Yeah, but you can't actually. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go for it anyway because
do it.
Incapacitated is a good thing anyway.
Yeah.
I guess I could have done damage as well, but that's all right. Finish. Yeah, right. It's just not in. It's not listed in. Oh, I bet it makes boss design or whatever. Probably in a section I don't have all the boss NPCs. Boss Edge.
Yeah, boss edge, boss finale. I'm trying to find it. I know I've read it in here because it is actually an item of discussion.
Mm.
And I'm just trying to find it. I thought it was under the design, but anyway, the word from GM is that you can't do a finishing blow essentially on anything that isn't 0 HP anyway.
Less guard, more damage, more better. Yeah. It's incapacitated, so that's cool. I just could have got some damage out of that move rather than just doing a main attack. That's all right. So then, because it's incapacitated, let me just look up what that gives me.
Take your time.
Power level 7. It can be broken if the target takes damage, which it's about to. But it doesn't get less guard. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, right. The finishing blow thing, the bit that I can use is that it no longer gets attribute bonuses to its guard.
Right.
So its guard is just its base.
Yeah.
Like whatever armor it has, but it doesn't get any agility or might bonus anymore.
Right.
So that's probably a pretty hefty reduction.
Yeah, it is. It's substantial.
Okay. And it also gets the -2 from invisible. So let's have at it. Let's go. Let's try.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I have the just
so effectively, what has happened is its guard comes down to a 12.
Oh, I see. Grey Moustache was saying the fortitude roll to stay alive only applies if it's at 0 HP, at which point it's dead anyway. So
yeah.
A boss cannot be subject to a finishing blow unless its hit point total has been reduced to 0.
Okay. Where you find
what page is that on? Because
that is page 109.
Thank you.
It's boss NPCs and it's under boss edge. It's like the
it's under the edge bit. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't seeing it. Thank you.
Yeah, for some reason. Oh yeah, here we go. I see.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I wish I read that, but that doesn't matter. I like the story. Let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. 12 on the D20. We got 6 and a 2, so the 2, 6, 7, and okay, so it's a 4 and a 2 plus 12. 6, 18 over its raw guard.
Right, and its raw guard is a 12 currently.
Okay, so it takes 6 damage.
Yep. But yeah, that's okay. So this thing is now incapacitated. Nice move. Incap, and then it takes 6 more damage.
Is it incapped if it's?
I think it now gets to resist.
It now gets to resist.
I think it now gets to resist because it took damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just ends.
It's woken because it's hit, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, let's double check the rules because it didn't roll above 10 on 2 dice just now. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be doing power level 7. The effect can only be broken if the target takes 1 or more points of damage.
Yeah, but then in the special it says, while most banes last until an active resist, it prevents the target from being aware, so they can't.
Yeah, it can't actively resist it, but it's got the power level stuff talks about how you break it.
Target receives a resist roll as a. I see. Right.
Okay. Yeah, the problem is that wording is kind of sketchy because what it doesn't say is what the effect of the 1 point of damage is. Is it automatic or does it give it a roll? Because effect can be broken by moderate disruption.
I think it's like it gets to resist it like a passive resistance like with Stupefy, but
Yeah,
if you do
no, but
damage
for-
to it, it just comes out of it.
Yeah, the effect can only be broken if the target takes 1 point of damage or more. So okay, yes, that's pretty clear.
I think
Okay, that's
I think that's
all right.
as
Broken.
opposed to this one, which is broken if they shake him.
Yep. Yeah. Well, no, it's just the question is okay, what do you mean by broken? But I'm going to take that as the literal, for lack of a better way of putting it, as mechanically exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Broken is pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bane is gone. Okay.
And then at 9, that stops being a thing. You can only do it through resist rolls.
Right. Okay. Okay then. Absolutely spectacular moment. Doesn't pay huge spades. However,
as I was just saying to GM, like I should, it would have been better just to do a normal attack and apply incapacitated, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's okay.
And that brings us to Mysel now.
Hio.
Yes.
Hio
now. I forgot to update my initiative counter.
No, the regen happens on Alexandre's turn. So, is Spider still on the creature?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sort of in on its main body now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you're invisible just to like, in terms of like, you can't be seen.
Yeah, I think there's some like awareness of around where I am because of the boom of music and whatever.
Yeah,
But
the
also the
brilliant flash
smell.
and all the other stuff. Yeah, and then yes, if you have hunt senses as it were, smell, tremor sense, whatever, then you can.
Because Hio can smell you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
is it, if for lack of a better way of putting it, the champion's term you would use is it a targeting sense? Is sufficiently acute that you could launch fire based on the direction of the smell? If the answer is no, all you know is he's somewhere in that arc.
I think it is. I'll have to check it. I'm pretty sure there is a thing we can locate people. Oh, okay.
I mean, right now, I think the thing is people can hear me, and that's like enough to locate me.
Okay, it doesn't work quite the way I thought it was, but that is okay. Because it's, as you're saying, you just sort of hear him. It's actually, as a focused action, you can basically work out the number and rough location of all the creatures within 60 feet.
Okay, yeah.
And then if you spend another focused action, you can start to hone in on a
Okay, that actually makes sense for creatures like wolves and that sort of thing, bloodhounds, that kind of thing. Spend a few seconds sniffing around, and then they know what it is they're up to.
Yeah. But either way, we've got a rough idea of where he is, which hopefully is going to mean I can do what I want to do. Hio will fly up and move sort of so he's sort of like equidistant between like the creature and like the caravan. And I'm going to try to apply, given that we can hear and we know if I can target Spider, I'll target Spider as well. But we're going to try and put resistance on the 3 of us.
Okay.
I don't know if Spider, I think Alexandre has experienced this before. I don't think Spider was cognizant at the time last time. I think he was still trapped in the illusion, but I sort of described it before as, when Hio attacks, it's, the fire of the Inferno, and this is more the fire of the hearth. So it's it's the fire that the blacksmith makes tools with. It's the fire that cooks your food. It's the fire that people gather around, tell stories, and become community. And so it's essentially you feel this warmth inside you. Okay. That's 18 on the D20, which is very useful, given that I'm going to lose a lot to disadvantage. Okay. Yeah, that is 18, 26, and then 34. 34? Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
What's,
All right. So essentially, your skill cap, essentially your stat capped on your power level. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I would need. Fucking excellent. So yeah. So all three, you sort of feel that this comfort and warmth inside you, and it is mechanically. You have all of your defense scores are 9 higher when targeted by entropy.
wow, nice.
Nice.
And then we're going to breathe fire on this thing. And this is the Inferno time we were talking about just earlier. We're going to sort of exclude Spider, the area Spider is from this.
Can I don't know if this makes sense. Can I interrupt and bolster? Like, would that make the fire stronger? Would that fan the flames? I don't know.
So officially, there is the only thing that's close to an interrupt, as it were, that I'm aware of, is essentially defense action. You can't leap ahead in the initiative action.
There is an improvise thing, but I think that's more for like.
Now, there's also, but my sort of mechanical quibble about that is there's nothing that doesn't say that you can't yell, "Hang on, I'll help," and then they just wait till you've cast the bolster.
An option.
The improvise is sort of like you have to do a thing. As long as it's not like a direct, it's a non-offensive reaction to assist an ally. And it just uses your major action for whenever your turn comes up.
Well, that's essentially what what Shawnee's saying she wants to do anyway. So very good.
Is using it to put a flight boon on someone as they fall off a cliff.
Yeah, there we go. So if that's mechanically possible, then yeah. Okay, so essentially, then you essentially just, in this case, so on your turn, you've already used your major action. That's all. You can still move and do everything else.
Yep.
All right. So
and I'm not going to sustain it. So just roll the boon.
Yeah. So you roll the bolster, and you would. I'm guessing bolstering is Heo's energy stat, because that's what the fire attack is with. And then
I hate my dice right now. Was a 9, 10. That was a 12. Oh no, I don't do it. It doesn't come off. Oh well. Okay.
Very good then.
I tried.
So yes, there is going to be a waft of music that fills the air. Heo is actually going to hear it very distantly, but there's just so much chaos going on around here that it just doesn't quite sink in.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to do a lot. No, that's like 10 overall.
Yeah, okay. It's all of its stats are above 20, so no. Yeah,
I think because this was a hasted action, so it's just sort of like
Yep.
It isn't able to quite redirect the fire to a hot enough extent to actually cause noticeable damage. That's okay.
Actually, I think more it's going to be. I think more of it's going to be a matter of the fact that you're very aware of the fact that Spider is still somewhere in close proximity, and so in your attempts to not incinerate Spider in the process, you're just not simply able to apply enough torch to the target.
Yeah. But that's Heo's turn.
Very good. All right then, and then that does bring us to Alexandria.
And what that does do is roll d4 for here. That does still happen.
I got a 4. So.
I got a 1. That's nice.
And a 2. So
nice. Good.
6 overall.
I mean, going from 19 to 28, I'm not upset.
No. Right.
I'm not upset. It's slow, but I'm not upset. I can move though. That was my major action. I can move.
And if you don't move, you can trade your move for another action or something. Another action. Yeah.
I see. How's that fire going?
That
was moving toward.
I was just going to say it's actually. I'm just going to say it's gotten a little bit of help from Heo, and it is getting sufficiently close that the Voidal Daemon is certainly starting to pay attention to that singeing sensation around its tail.
I'll just stand here and
All right then.
Find something resembling cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to move. I'm just going to blow fan the flames.
Sure.
4 different. I've used 4 different dice. 4 different d20s, and every time I've rolled a 9 on the d20. Every single time this session, 4 different d20s. 4. What did I roll on this one? Okay. So that's a 19, though.
I'm just going to say, so yes. So all this means is that Alexandria is all about the skill, not about the luck.
Yeah, she really is. She's skillful. She's not lucky.
All right then. So let's see, what power level is that? 4. Okay, so you're going to. The flames will start to actually get a little bit wider and a little bit less focused, but a little bit closer as well. All right. All right then.
Now the bad things happen.
Yes, all the bad things happen.
It's always like you sort of go, yeah, we did a lot of really cool things this turn. This is great. This is really this, and it's like now the boss goes, oh right, this part. I hate this part.
So, just to complicate things, there is off to Alexandria's right the unmistakable sizzle, crackle, and hiss of a portal beginning to open. And to make things even, there's the unmistakable smell of ozone ozone and sulfur crawling into the air as this rip in reality begins to pull itself open. So that's the first thing that happens.
Great.
And then, all right.
Not and then. No. I don't understand.
And then they all lived happily ever after.
Exactly.
I'm just going to say maimed but alive. Yes. So there's a really annoying dragon that seems to be breathing fire, and it just didn't seem to learn the last time. So I think the first thing that our nasty little monster is going to do now is cast a boon on itself. It needs to roll power level 5. Let's see how we go here, and that is an entropy based.
Oh, it's also silenced again.
Oh, it's also silenced again. All right, then the first thing it has to do is kick the silence off. Because otherwise it can't. Otherwise, all it can basically do is beat you with a tree, which is effective. However, roll the persistent damage if you would, please. We'll get that done first.
Oh, yep. Another 5.
Another 5. Very good. And regen is a 5, so that's a wash. But yes, so you're holding it down by virtue of the persistent damage. So it needs to resist. Okay, so it's going to wind up using its movement to try and resist the silence, and that is a 19. So while it is immovable, it has refound its voice, which allows it to take its major action, which is going to be to cast a boon on itself. So that's a D20 and 3D10. With 3 chances to improve. All right. Wow. Okay, so it rolled a natural 20 on the D10. Sorry, on the D20. So that's actually quite nice. And it just rolled an exploding 10. It has more than enough power level to for that to work. I don't need to know what the big number actually turns out to be. So it now has life drain active. Yep. So
Great.
it's going.
I'm glad.
It's to prove the amount of healing this thing has access to.
Yeah.
Oy.
It's hence its name.
I would like to
That's why its name.
Voidal Demon? Or Steve? What's his name?
The translation of its here. Allow me to introduce you because I gave you the name earlier. Hang on a sec here. Stop that. But yeah, this is the name that Heyo would know this thing as. I'll post it in the chat.
The Eater of Fate.
Yeah. The splat ahead of its name in as close as it gets to a human voice. Yeah, no, this is the equivalent. This is the juggernaut, if you will. Hey, this thing eats cities because you just can't get rid of it.
Oh, so like Heyo doesn't, but like this thing does. Good to know.
Yeah. Heyo would be very aware of the, as Heyo would recognize this thing instantly. I believe that I had told, my soul was going, I think I've seen this thing somewhere before. I think its name is something like the Eater of Fate, but really didn't get the implication. But as a dragon, Heyo is incredibly aware of what this thing is. Its shtick is not damage. Its shtick is tank.
That has implications I don't like.
This is the demonic equivalent of a living siege engine. It just plows across countrysides.
So
Are you ever so dangerous that people send a siege engine just after you personally? Like you just have one person. A siege engine? You're going to lay siege to an individual. We're not bothering with a city. And if it's Genevieve, I'm laying siege to one girl. Like it's just a half-elf girl, and I'm sending a siege. I would call that an overreaction. I would call that an overreaction.
Overreaction is Genevieve's middle name.
Overreaction.
Probably surname. I don't know.
I think we do know her name.
We do know it.
Right, yeah, because we looked into her.
We found out her grandmother was killed her own mum.
I'm disheartened by the revelation, partly because not designed for damage still did half our health in one shot.
It's a siege engine though. After one person.
Yeah.
Not after a city. Like a siege engine would do damage to one person that it would not do to a city.
But it's also if it is designed to be more sort of attrition, it could have been specifically to hold us up for a period of time to allow other things to happen. Hence portal.
Okay. So its major action goes into casting its life drain, which basically means it can just go it can essentially go semi-indefinitely at this point. And then it's going to the best description for it is beat the dragon with a stick. Where stick is defined as oak tree that there's a very concerned small pair of birds hanging onto with their sword and shield, yelling invective at the monster. One of those hanging under the
they're not there. They are right here. I told them to keep an eye on my grandmother.
Yes, they were here. From the tree. They have a nice high perch up there.
I said stay here. I told them to stay right the fuck here. You get the fuck back here. You get back now. The hell are you doing over? You look away from your birds for 1 minute in a siege engine.
Guys complain about that all the time. And so 1 sec here. Melee attack. Might versus guard. It's literally just going to grab a tree and attempt to baseball you out of the air. Absolutely no finesse, no, just raw brute. I don't like you anymore. So that's 2d10 for the base and advantage 3.
I suppose it can't swing the tree at me because I'm on its body, and then it would hit
Right. Oh no,
itself.
it has a great idea for you in just a second. It's just using the wind up with the tree to get enough rotation speed up.
Oh boy.
Shawnee, your D20 is contagious.
On a 9?
Yeah, I
Good.
rolled a 9. Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. I'm glad I said something.
Eight,
You
They
can
could
have
roll.
it.
They could roll lower.
Yeah.
8, 6.
I'll hand it
Okay.
over.
All right. Okay. So I've got an 8 and a 6, and then a 2 and a 1. So the 2 and the 1 get thrown out. I get one more dice of advantage to roll here. And then I get 2 more dice of advantage. So 1 dice of advantage is a 4. That's really not an improvement. 2 more dice of advantage. One of those is a 2. One of those is a 9. So that actually does improve one of those dice. So we have a 9, and an 8. So that is 1826 versus your toughness.
Guard.
It should be
Yes,
guard.
guard. Sorry, guard. Yes, guard. It's a might versus guard. Yes, 26.
4 damage.
4 damage. Minimum is 5.
I thought minimum was 3.
Minimum
Minimum is 3.
Sorry. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Unless
Getting confused on game systems here. Yes, minimum damage is 3. You do 4. Yes.
I was like, I don't know. Is that a feat?
That's a cool feat, actually.
It actually would be a cool feat. Would be to increase the minimum damage number. But
could you then take the Bane thing, and then that reduces it from 10 to 5, and always get a Bane? I like it.
Wow, yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Game design.
Death of 1,000 cuts. All right. So you get thumped by an oak tree, and that is its first boss action. Its second boss action is to use yon oak tree as a back scratcher in an attempt to get rid of you know who.
That me. Roll 26 again.
How dare you?
Guess what my guard is?
All right. Starts out with a 7 on the D10 on the D20. That's a natural. Okay, that's a 9. That's 2. We have a 1 and another 9. So I get 2 more dice and then 1 more dice. So unless he gets explosions, I think you're safe. That's not an explosion. That's not an explosion. And so 1 more dice. That is not so. Okay, so it's it's 18, and he rolls a 25. He's 25 on the hit on the strike.
And I have 26 guard with.
All right, so I just get exactly. So I think best way of explaining it is that you're sort of wedged in between a couple of armored plates on this thing's back, and branch tickles the end of your nose as it's scratches.
But it's going up and down, and every time it comes down, it's just like a quick montage of Spider being in different contortionist poses, like bending around the branches in different poses, and just sort of like just missing each time.
Yeah, I like that actually as a visual. And then it's going to I need to have it make a. Actually, it's not. No, it does not have time to do that. So it's just going to blast away at the last person it can see who's being annoying, which is Alexandri with entropy. So that is that's a straight up ranged attack. Entropy versus toughness. So 3d10, 60. Okay, so 60d10. All total, keep the highest 3. 9d10, keep the highest 3. So the d20 starts out as a 2. Grief, folks. Okay, exploded
9.
10.
Yeah.
It's a 4 and a 5 and a 1. We'll see if we can improve the 4 or the 5. That's a 7. So, yep, that's an improvement. I'm going to try and improve the 5. That's a 3.
6 rolls. 7.
That's 4. That's a 1.
8 rolls.
And that's an 8. So it's got a 12, and 15. So 27.
And you get to explode the 10.
No, that is with the sorry, the exploding 10 needs to be rolled. And that is an 8. So 32. 32 all total.
9 damage.
9 damage. Right.
Is that with the bonus defense?
Yep. My guard is only 14.
It's against your toughness.
My toughness?
Yes. It's entropy versus toughness because of the way the attack works. He's
Oh.
basically...
But you do get +9 entropy.
I get +9.
Yeah.
And it was 32?
Mm-hmm.
6 damage then.
6. Very good then. And spirit. Okay, so you will also gain a level of fatigue with that.
Very rude.
And that brings us to the top of the round. And the portal finishes forming. Genevieve steps out and looks at you, Alexandre, who's just literally gotten slammed. So she literally walks out with a martini as the blast of entropy rolls past and kind of looks around, looks up at that thing and says, Smithers, get rid of that. She calls into the portal. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.
Oh, good.
Interesting.
You gotta love how not only does that happen, but then she's like, nothing is allowed to overpower my entrance. Stage management, fix it. Where's the
Demons are my thing. How dare you?
Who summoned this without my permission?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not amazingly happy to discover it's not Jennifer who sent the thing. Like,
yeah, as revelations go, that's probably not good news, but
you're like, oh no, oh okay, wait, oh no.
I don't know how I feel about the fact that there are several people battling for my small half-elf soul. But I'm not unhappy. The enemy of my enemy, right?
It's also just given that they all just like throwing large walking piles of nope at you, so
Alexandria is nope worthy.
You need more diverse enemies.
Yeah. Look. No. What if no enemies?
I mean, sure, but let's be realistic.
This is fair. The last thing I want is an Edgewater walking out of that portal, so I'm happy.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
No, don't wonder. That's how things happen.
No, someone literally got woken up at stupid o'clock in the morning with a call from the boss to the effect of, "Are you aware? You're fucking kidding me, right, boss? Hang on, I'll go look."
Why are you attacking our target with the Eater of Fate? I'm not.
I was just attacking near your target. She wasn't actually going to die. She's going to hurt a lot.
I do. Does the martini glass have like, don't talk to me until I've had my first my morning martini?
It does now.
Yeah.
Use a martini
Everyone
glass,
gets-
but it still has a mug handle.
Yeah. Just a little one.
2 fingers only, yes.
Alexandria wants a demon now. Everyone seems to have demons, so I want one. Oh well, next rest time.
You have a golem and an eating plant.
Last year I had 32.
I want a demon minion. You have minions at home.
The minions at home.
Minions at home.
An emo goth plant. Like, come on. I'm ready for a demon. Baby's first demon.
So yeah, so just when you think things couldn't possibly get more awkward, the plot line. Hang on, we're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes,
Going to set her on fire.
I was just going to say. So we will actually be beginning next session in narrative time, not in combat time. And then depending on what happens in narrative time will indicate whether or not we wind up rolling more dice.
Okay.
But by the way, just so it is clear, it is actually mechanically possible for you folks to defeat this thing. It's just ridiculously tanky.
We were getting closer. Like if I'd done an extra 10 damage that round, I imagine then we were pretty.
It has 80. It starts with 85 health, right? And you guys, yes, have done a ridiculous amount of damage to this thing, but because I always write down the preferred strategy of my creatures to remind me, and its default is always going to be heal over damage. Most of the things you've encountered so far, particularly the less intelligent demons, their priority is always damage over self-preservation. This thing's primary job is self-preservation. Which is
still
life
be a
steal.
siege engine.
It got to lifesteal on those last couple attacks as well.
It's got
right?
it's the
So
combat
it should be like
equivalent
plus
of paying
another
off.
5 health. Or something.
It's the combat equivalent of paying off a student loan.
Oh my god. No.
I've
We managed to
done
do lethal
150.
damage. No.
It still has 60 health.
But we were doing lethal damage to it, so we were actually paying it down, and that's not possible. That's
where the
not a
metaphor
student
falls
loan.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mortgage.
That's why we're trying to just like. Is it an easier sell to the conservative governments if we instead of talking about forgiving student loan, we refer to it as like killing or doing lethal damage to student loan?
What if we destroy?
Yeah.
Invade it. Invade this thing.
Let's colonize student loans. Why don't we colonize the student loans and it will be great.
I heard a rumor that student loans have oil.
Right?
Can't confirm it. We should go check.
We should check.
Need some freedom. Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and all the non-binary finery hanging out. Thank you very much for joining us. That's it for us for this week. Is everyone okay for next week as far as y'all know?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
All right. We will be back featuring everyone's least favorite villainess, Genevieve. And we'll see how things go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.